please.
Fold. Out.
15 love. Love.
Well, Masura's made his way from the studio. Wally, welcome. Glad you're alongside for tonight. A lot of anticipation in the air.
Oh, yeah, and hasn't Novak started nervously?
First serve of the match was almost the quickest of his tournament. Talk about adrenaline pumping.
Fold. Out.
Brad, you obviously sat courtside, you know, watching that match with Tommy Paul. When I watch Novak hit, it just doesn't seem as vicious as a lot of players on tour, but he just seems to get such a result. Just the balance and the timing. It's almost like he's got a heavy racket that he's laying on the ball.
Thank you.
Fold.
Never ceases to amaze me. He started off well, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And what Wally said before to me about sitting down there and watching Tommy Paul, I saw so much of that the other night.
Fold.
It's an interesting start, isn't it? He's hit the off backhand return a little bit more on the deuce side this tournament than I've seen him in previous times. And whether he feels as though, because he's so good and so predictable hitting his backhand return through to a right-hander's backhand in that situation, he's just wanted to change things up a little bit and keep Steph honest early on and leave that up his sleeve for later. I would be very surprised if that's a break point, whether we see Novak taking that return into the Tsitsipas forehand.
I think it's worth mentioning, Mark, that in Novak's previous 4 finals here, he's broken straight away. And then he's consolidated the break. So at the first sit down, he's up 3-love. Tsitsipas here, love 30 on his first service game.
Thank you. Please.
We needed that. just to get his teeth into this game a little bit. It was interesting to me on the first point. I was thinking that's the most defense I saw Novak playing, and he still won the point. Fitzy and I were talking before the match, Petch, a little bit about how I just think that Novak is the best, actually the best. You know, it's marginal, but the best of all the guys at targeting a weakness and then staying to that position throughout the entirety of a match. And I expect that last point to see that repeated a lot tonight.
You think he's going to target the Tsitsipas backhand?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he's the best going around that does that.
Yeah.
Because Steph, against most players, can get around and hit his forehand, but the accuracy of Djokovic is what hurts Tsitsipas. It's always into that slightly weaker side on the backhand.
Surprised that he broke the pattern there.
Just
Fault.
Of course, it has been one of the remarkable features of Steph's tournament so far. His has been his ability to save break points.
Tsitsipas.
Those last couple making his tally for the tournament, 46 saved out of 55 faced.
Take that stat.
Game Tsitsipas.
Well, I think a significant hold. I know it's early days, but when you consider that Novak starts very quickly in these finals, I think that's a big moment, because it enables Tsitsipas not to drop behind straight away. And I'm interested when Wally has a chance down there to let us know how he thinks these conditions, which are a bit heavier than during the day, how they affect both of these players and who that is an advantage for.
It's absolutely perfect for tennis. There's barely a breath of breeze. If there is, it favours the Tsitsipas end ever so slightly. But look, I just think nighttime tennis suits Novak. He's played virtually every night. This tournament, a little bit cooler. Tsitsipas probably wants it a bit more lively.
Yeah, his physio on the right. Claudio's also come on board just to the right of Goran. Well, it's been a pretty awesome start on serve for Novak Djokovic, and he put an awful lot of pressure on Tsitsipas's opening.
I love the nationalistic feeling that we have going on right now. It feels like a World Cup. Those pictures from out at Garden Square look like the Serbs are definitely dominating that area out there.
Fault.
Sensational from Tsitsipas.
That's what we're hoping for. That was a heavyweight battle right there, that point. Hope we get to see that all night long and see who can stand up to those kind of punches throughout the entirety of the evening.
Thank you.
So Mark Philippoussis and a quick shot of Bill Gates. Big lover of tennis.
Can't imagine Bill would have a bad seat. He'd be up close to the action there, and when you're down low on the court, it really is an amazing perspective to watch these athletes. I just don't like the matchup backhand to backhand for Stefanos. He has to find a way, I think, to hit his forehand more and more.
Do you think he can work harder with his feet to get around and find them, or he has to anticipate a little bit earlier? He served well these two games. Served himself out of trouble in the last game.
13. Oh.
Again, right there.
He lost his serve a little bit in the previous match. Just for a while, just lost it. It dipped. He had problems and he was worried about it, but he needs it tonight. He really does.
Fault.
Well, that right there, for me, was that's what we saw all night when Tommy played him. And he jumped on that second serve return.
13,
Took time
14.
away right away. I mean, and he's gaining an advantage out of that return. He's not starting neutral. He's definitely not starting behind, but he's not even starting neutral. He's starting ahead on second serves.
And that was 171 out wide to the forehand against the grain.
Yeah, and if he does that, you know, the other night he returned 95% of Tommy's second serves in play, but with aggression.
Fault. Fault.
And then he went 180 because he was running out of ideas already. Tsitsipas 180 into the body is a high risk play. And we're only 17 minutes into this final, and it already feels like a code red situation here for Tsitsipas.
And you can add 5 years in a row to that stat you read earlier, Fitz.
Well, he didn't lead 3-love, but he's now up a break and he's looking to consolidate for 4-1. So yes, it's a quick start. He's found his range. It just seems hard for Tsitsipas to hurt him from the back.
Thank you.
I mean, this is measured, it's majestic, and it's simplistic.
15 love.
Could have hit that backhand a lot harder, but he knew he was ahead in the rally, and he played the percentages.
Yeah. Didn't take too much of a risk because he knew he could get the reward without it. He chooses the right shot virtually every time.
And this is what happens, sorry, Fitzy, and this is what happens when he gets an early break in the first 4 games. Novak, 96% of the time he goes on to win it. We talk a lot about his returning skills, but he is a closer of note.
Please.
Wally's down there closer to the action, more or closer than we are. It looks from up here, though, that the forehand of Tsitsipas tonight, so far, hasn't hurt Novak like it's hurt his other opponents. He's had the ball jumping and moving off the court. Tonight, it seems like Novak's not that rushed by it, Wally.
Fold.
No, Fitzy, I'd have to agree. There's only been one point that I can think of, and that was in the previous Tsitsipas service game from up the Novak end, where Novak was even pushed off the baseline, and he actually played a couple of really good defensive slices to win the point. But Novak he looks unbelievably comfortable. Everything is coming out of the middle.
Why should tonight be any different? He actually mishit a ball there.
Yeah. The thing that stood out to me through the last few points of the game that he broke and now into this is that he's already got Stefanos pressing. The forehand that he missed into the net before, he tried to really add pace to and stand on. The backhand that he shanked cross court, trying again to add pace to the ball. You've got to stay comfortable within yourself and be willing to suffer through these points.
He's tried that in recent times, Tsitsipas, to a modicum of Garros with the 14 wins, and he hasn't always had it hot and sunny. He's had it cold and wet and damp, and he's still beaten those players. The ones that are great and the ones that are truly great, like Novak, they'll beat you whatever the conditions.
Look, I absolutely don't disagree with that. It's just that I think it's harder for Tsitsipas in these conditions to beat him. It's what it looks like in the early stages to me.
How was that shot, Brad?
Pretty good. I mean, again, I'm in awe, and the other night I was in awe. I hate to say that, you know, when you're competing against someone, but I was in awe of his returning ability. You know, we have those iPads in the player boxes now. And I actually took a screenshot the other night of the returning stats, because at the end of the match he had returned 82% of all forehands. That's first serves and second serves. and 91% of all backhands, both first serves and second serves. Steph hit a good first serve on that first point, and it came back and actually rushed him.
Again,
off of first serve. The returning level,
15-13.
and especially given his court position. You know, we know Rafa's been a great returner, but from extremely deep in the court. Medvedev's a great returner, but extremely deep in the court. Novak's doing it from a little bit more of a neutral position or an offensive position on the return.
31.
And that's how good Steph has to be to keep him from making a return.
Thank you.
Vote.
Please. Please.
Well, Fitz, there you had him find 2 forehands.
yeah.
And I think that he's got to
40-13.
he's got to get out the hunting rifle and be hunting for forehands. He's got to really work, whether he has to step deeper, whatever he has to do. I agree with you. You know, you've got to avoid as much as you can the backhand to backhand, and when you do have to play it, then be steady. Don't try and do too much from that side if you're Steph.
Djokovic leads.
Well, his game is not just serve forehand centric, but they're the 2 biggest weapons he's got. And against Djokovic, he's going to have to use both of them well. That just goes without saying. So, look, he's in the first set. He's trailing. But yes, he has to try and get more forehands, that's for sure, from the back of the court.
We did a fairly deep dive on what had happened in their previous sort of 9 meetings, and it just goes to show it's a big problem for Steph. We were looking at it. Whenever he hits 2 backhands in any rally, he wins just 1/3 of the points.
That's scary. If you're on the Tsitsipas side of things, those are stats you don't want to hear.
Vote.
Didn't give them to Scud. And again, those serves are so productive for Novak long term, aren't they? Because if he does have to face a break point, and at some stage you feel as though Steph will make some inroads on this serve, it takes away his ability to run around the second serve on the ad side, and Novak can just roll one in with no pace on it.
Ready?
Tsitsipas has to guard against that quick second serve down the tee on the ad.
Vote.
And he has definitely taken up a deeper stance tonight, Tsitsipas, against Novak than in previous meetings.
That's been a bit of a theme of the tournament, hasn't it, Mark? That Stefanos has been going deeper on the return. I think a lot of guys have the ability to rush him a little bit on the backhand side when he's standing closer on the return, which he was doing for a while. He was trying to be very aggressive and take returns early on the hard courts, but he just gets caught. He gets late on the swing, and it either hangs in the middle of the court or he misses it altogether sometimes.
Backhand down the line there just opened the court up, didn't it?
Yeah, but he got hurt on a forehand, Fitz. He got that forehand from the wide position, but he slid to that ball, and that one right there, and wasn't able to do much with it. Left that hanging right in the middle of the court. That's where he got in trouble. From there, the backhand was going to be pretty tough to have to deal with. He's got to play some defense from those positions. That first forehand has to be deeper, has to keep Novak from being able to attack.
Djokovic.
You don't see that every day.
No, you don't.
A
flip. He's just the third player, of course, to win double digits at the same Grand Slam tournament. Novak, Margaret Court did it at the Australian Open 11 times. And the incredible Rafael Nadal, 14 at Roland Garros.
Ready for play.
Fault.
Hasn't been able to win too many of the extended rallies so far, Novak. I mean, Steph, I should say, but he got that one down a little bit lower.
Yeah, that was the first sort of questionable decision. Low and inside the court, trying to take that up the line was a tough shot. Again, their first serve.
15-0.
And he puts Stefanos on defense off the return. I mean, to me, that's just astounding. And he does it so consistently.
I think the two most important parts of tennis. Under 5 shots and between 5 and 9 comfortably so far, Novak.
Yeah.
30-15.
I feel like that was a I'm up a break decision from Novak. Probably would have gone middle there if he didn't already have a break in hand.
40-15. Cain, Tsitsipas.
Well, that was interesting at least. He went to his right there. He almost guessed with that first serve. So that's an indication that Tsitsipas, there's Mark Philippoussis, indication that Stefanos is serving well, particularly with the first serve.
Well, that's the easy part. That was the outcome they were hoping for. Now comes the much trickier proposition. In his last 58 service games against Novak, Steph has only produced 5 break points.
30-15.
You get these small glimmers of hope like that, but he's still ahead on the scoreboard within the game, within the set. So hard to really build confidence.
Not a bad response if Steph is going to trundle back a few metres, 2, 3, 4 metres back behind the baseline to return 151. Nasty kick way up above shoulder height on the single-hander.
Gorgeous opening set from Novak Djokovic.
You mentioned Stan, and recently it's been Kyrgios, so I'm just trying to scratch my head. How do you trump him? What attributes do you need? And I can come up with abrasive sort of personality, a certain arrogance to take him on, and then just sheer firepower. I'm just not sure Steph has it in all parts of the court.
Yeah, you know, Wally, Nick sent Tommy Paul a pretty extensive game plan the other night, and one of the main things he said was you have to be willing to suffer because the points are going to be long and grueling. And that being said, Nick possesses the ability on his serve to be able to keep anybody off balance and start points from ahead more often. And I just think what I've seen here with Novak, not just in this match, not just against Tommy Paul, but in the other matches, I covered him a couple times, is the level of returning just puts him in a position to start from an advantage so often within the points.
And I feel like, too, there's something about the personality within the clash, because I'm looking at Novak. He seems to be doing everything at about 75%, well within himself. I just don't know how you rattle his cage or create doubt.
That's a bit more like Wawrinka. Good linear speed on the backhand side, a little less loft.
40-10.
But it's not easy to produce over and over again. But it is a winning strategy. Excellent start to the second. He's a big character.
Out.
15-11.
Out.
13-11.
You know, to me, he's like an engine that has high-end torque. He's not revving that high, but he's still got power from down. Like he doesn't look like he's stressed at all to me, Djokovic, and yet he's got this drive and ability to still push hard. It's amazing to watch him. Tsitsipas just needs to hang in there, doesn't he? He's got to play as well as he can for as long as he can and build a foundation of games here.
Fitzy, if Novak was a car, what would he be?
Well, he's a combination, I think, Wally. Electric Kia, maybe. That's pretty fast. That's what we want to see if Tsitsipas is going to stay with him here. And there's the first time he's tried to get the crowd involved. That can have an influence. We've talked about it, but he's got to play well enough to bring them in.
Yeah, as I say, in Paris when they played, he was struggling big time down a set. 1-love, love 30. Managed to scramble through a couple of service games. He had a great forehand at 2-all in that Paris semi. And he started doing all of that, and the crowd really got behind him for a moment. They wanted to see a competitive match. Novak went off the ball. It happened again in Turin, and he's right after Steph did it in Turin. Novak hit a great winner and did it right back in Steph's face.
Yeah, well, his forehand is coming through in this game, and he needs that big time.
And he's starting to hit enough good shots out here that perhaps the crowd will get involved.
That's the best sign we've seen in that game. His forehand hurt Novak there.
Well, that's the best game he's played in the match so far.
Ready?
Yeah.
15 love.
He's hurt him on that deuce side with that wide serve consistently as the opening play for the first point of each game. He's gone there almost exclusively on the first points.
Yeah.
15 all.
An unforced error is a bit of a shock. One thing we haven't mentioned, guys, much smaller wrap on the leg tonight.
Fold. Yeah.
So a little bit of extra bounce on the previous point from the Tsitsipas backhand that got up on Novak, and he missed one, and then a bit more pace on that one from the forehand. The crowd starting to get involved, it seems like, Wally.
Thank you.
Fold.
Please.
Well, it was a fun rally, just never felt as though Tsitsipas was in it. Return just didn't do any sort of damage.
30 all.
First real pressure point here Novak's had, though.
Please.
15-30. Again, a little bit of pressure here.
Well, he had to push off that leg. And he's done a very nice job of getting up there for the overhead.
Yeah, I think if that hamstring was going to be pushed tonight, that particular move would have tested it. It seems there was no problem.
Cain, Djokovic.
Guys, I actually don't mind that game from Tsitsipas. There was a couple of the high rolled backhands. He's got a little breeze at his back and he got a bit of extra bounce. Novak got out in front of one of those backhands. There was a chip, a couple of chips, ineffectual. Novak found himself at the net. But there just wasn't a radar on every shot from Tsitsipas that was exactly the same. There was a bit of variety. I think that's okay in the return games.
Fault.
Wally, it's interesting. I had this impression in that last game that there was a moment of doubt that went through Novak's mind. It's always weird to me how sometimes, and this happened the other night against Tommy Paul, he's up 2 breaks and then all of a sudden he almost inexplicably loses 2 service games back. And I had this sense there. 15-30, he hit a second serve at 137. He almost looked tight.
Fault.
And I agree. And, you know, it's kind of interesting. And I don't know why I said I liked that game, because all of a sudden, Novak just looked a little different. He was reaching for 2 backhands. He didn't cover one with shape, and one he actually got out in front of. So, yeah, I agree with you. But, you know, I'm sure Novak, those doubt, or if any doubt enters his mind, it's dispelled pretty quickly.
Does look as though he's decided to serve a lot slower on his second serve tonight, because Tsitsipas has taken up that deeper position, feeling as though it's not going to gain him any real advantage. He's down about 10 Ks on average on his second serve already tonight anyway.
Well, I think it was interesting also at the end of that game, after he got through that service game, he went to the towel box, toweled off for a second, and then jogged to the returning position. It was almost like he was kind of pushing himself to be like, okay, got through that game. I had a little bit of a weird moment. Like, let's go. Let's jump on him right here.
Thank you.
Well, these players are not silly. They know when a big point arrives, and this was one. Djokovic here pushing for the 15-40 opportunity. He made an amazing backhand slice, defensive shot down the line, and you can tell by that reaction that Stefanos also knew he needed that one. Back to 30-all. He's hanging on here, isn't he?
That was a good serve right there. That was short in the box.
40-30.
Fault. Fold.
Juice.
That's a little interesting signal there. Novak getting from his bench from Goran there to cover the one out wide on the forehand side. A winner at Wimbledon, of course. Philippus is a runner-up to Federer.
Fold.
He's always,
still made it anyway.
He's always aware when he's on the big screen too, isn't he, Goran? Those darting eyes up to the screen.
Advantage.
Well, I
Tsitsipas.
think the difference in tempo here early in the second from Stefanos has helped his cause. I mean, Novak hasn't been quite as perfect or quite as good in this second set so far, has he? I mean, that backhand was an example.
Couple of captivating games, couple of crucial games.
Thank you. Please.
Fold.
Boys, I love it. Change of pace. A rolled forehand, then he stung a forehand, and the drop shot, well, that was perfectly executed. But, you know, we've been talking about how do you beat Novak clean? Maybe you can't. Maybe you got to disrupt him. Change things up, and Novak all of a sudden he's been muttering over towards Goran in his camp, not quite as happy as he was 10, 15 minutes ago.
Hey, Wally loves it when you sting a forehand.
Please.
Now, I'm going to sound weird here, but I think that's okay. I think it's okay. I think different points are all right because, and Fitzy, you built a stellar career on it. Maybe sometimes you just got to bring your opponent down to your level.
Wow.
He doesn't only like a stinging forehand, he just likes to sting you.
Extra points for that comment, Wally.
Well, they're not.
You know, why am I not surprised? To bring everyone down to my level.
No,
there you go.
Fitzy, I said you had a stellar career. Let's be fair.
But
Let's be fair.
That is a skill. That's a skill, Fitz.
How to play ugly. Bring them back.
Let's. Professor. For 10.
That's the deficiency for Steph when he wants to move around at the back of the court on the return, that he doesn't have a great natural slice backhand block return, isn't it?
Please.
Surprising as a one-hander that he's never developed that ability.
Djokovic.
We hear the crowd chanting "Nole" a little bit. Also, I agree with what you've said, Mark, leading in, and that we've seen Novak get irritated. He gets frustrated sometimes when he feels that the crowd isn't supporting him the way that he wants him to. But this crowd here tonight is so divided between the Greeks and the Serbs. I think the Serbs will just shut the Greeks down.
Not if their man keeps coming up with shots like that. Novak blindsided by Tsitsipas's brilliance there.
And maybe now he needs to start being more emotive. Fire himself up.
Thanks.
Change the feeling around this court.
Fold.
I mean, his forehand return is,
15-all.
well, it's been impressive to say the least. He just hurts you so badly with it, doesn't he?
That's how you quiet the crowd as well.
Yeah. And trouble just lurks around every corner when you play Djokovic.
13. Thank you. Please.
Fold.
Please.
That's exceptional from Tsitsipas. Hopefully everything's okay with Novak after that little tumble. But boy, did Tsitsipas get a good workout on that backhand side.
Certainly looked dramatic.
We'll see it here again.
You're okay, Novak? Oh.
Well, these are big moments, aren't they?
Well done by Tsitsipas.
Yeah, there was tension there at 15:30 at 3-all. One set down.
14-13.
And the aggression, I think, is paramount for Tsitsipas in these situations.
Fold.
Oh, it's a shame. But it extracts perfection from you on every single point, as Djokovic.
And being forced to play some extreme defense out of that point, which is a great start from Tsitsipas, but Novak just picking the right side off that overhead and then executing so well off the backhand.
Extracting perfection. Beautifully said.
He's extracting perfection from his coach as well. He's looking over to Goran here. He wants another read on where Goran thinks this serve is going.
Don't give any hand signals.
Yeah, we won't ask you, Brad.
Well, he almost has to be taking the line, doesn't he, to win it? Novak's frustrated.
Advantage. Tsitsipas.
I mean, I'm amazed that the greatest returner we've seen in modern times needs that extra help.
You.
A little bit of tension.
Ready, please.
Is a big hold.
And there is tension, as you say, Fitzy. Big.
This a few years ago,
He wasn't as much, I don't think, Fitz, but this was an occurrence before we had the coaching opportunity as well. He likes to get into the box sometimes. I'm not sure that it benefits him.
Thank you.
I'm not sure that it doesn't benefit him. I don't really know, because he still wins an awful lot.
Well, Tsitsipas at least has his teeth in this second set.
He's definitely looked more human in this set, that's for sure.
Loved it.
I think it's just a reflection that Tsitsipas is in his head. He's playing well enough to push him. So Novak's looking for an outlet. Unfortunately, it's Goran.
It's amazing to see somebody so outwardly show that pressure that we know is there, but you kind of never see it, especially somebody as great as Novak. 6 year-end champs, of course, tied Federer this year in Turin. 7 years he's finished as the world #1, the most out of anybody, surpassed Sampras's 6. And yet here he is, right now, feeling the pressure of the moment.
Yeah, we're seeing something that we don't often see from Djokovic.
Thank you. Please.
Fold.
Goodness. Mark, you mentioned before, you think that serving slower with Stefanos returning deeper is a strategy? Because that second serve was at 128. That's as slow as I've seen in the entire tournament.
Yeah,
from anybody.
Yeah, and then he does it when he plays Zverev, and there's no question that he's decided to serve slower because he doesn't see the benefit of taking the risk of missing the second for the reward he's going to get. And also, he's not giving any pace. He served enough to the forehand on the second serve to Tsitsipas to know that he's not going to run around it and hit a forehand return.
Let's for serve.
well-constructed point from Tsitsipas. But Novak still with the response at the end.
Seen it twice in this game. A meaningful slice off the forehand, a chip that stayed low, and then the high, heavy ball has allowed him to get on top. So that variety can make a difference.
Thank you.
Wally, do you think that the crowd is more on Tsitsipas's side here with the noise, because there's been a look of defiance there from Novak after particularly the previous point to the last one?
Yeah, I feel, well, it's tough. There are more, the Serbs are more vocal, and there seems to be more of them. You can hear that right now. But if Tsitsipas does something brilliant, I think the neutral, the tennis fans, I think the neutral fans, they light up. So it's all about the quality of the play, who comes up with a big shot.
Please.
What a ferocious forehand from Tsitsipas. And there is no question that Novak has his hands full for the time being.
This is as good a shot as we've seen all night. Whooshka.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
You all right?
30-11.
He's got something going on there with Goran, doesn't he? It seems.
It's all about where the serve's going, and somehow when Stefanos hits an ace, somehow it's Goran's fault. Have you guys ever seen The Good, the Bad and the Ugly? And that stare that Eli Wallach gave Clint Eastwood?
Oh,
Wow.
Yes, many times.
Eli Wallach.
Yes.
Wally, you're digging deep.
Was he the bad or the ugly?
I know which role you would have been in.
It could have been Lee Van Cleef too.
I had a green light first and then I got the red one. It's shorts out. Thank you. 14 for 10.
Again, there's that forehand that turns defense into offense so quickly within the space of one shot.
14, 13.
That one not quite wide enough, was it? It was in the zone, that first serve.
Yeah, that forehand return cross court from the first court. It's done a lot of damage.
Tsitsipas has done a great job of staying in the conversation in this second set so far, and he has a little bit of scoreboard pressure in his advantage
Tsitsipas
as well now.
leads by 5 games to 4.
It was never going to be easy for Tsitsipas. Djokovic, who's won his last 40 matches in Australia.
Please.
15 love.
Stefanos telling himself to move forward through this ball after he missed it into the tape. Transfer your weight, young man, he's telling himself.
Fault.
Well, interesting there, Mark. Stefanos stood in on the return that time.
15 all.
He was on top of the baseline there.
It can't be easy though for a gear shift from obviously Novak at that stage though. He's what's the fastest second serve that he's hit tonight is 159, and in previous matches coming in he was up in the 190s at times with his second serves.
Yeah, that one was 123,
yeah.
and now Stefanos standing in tighter.
Once again, I love that variety, a meaningful slice, a heavy topspin ball. It's hard to have rhythm when you're dealing with those different types of spin on consecutive shots.
Well, Novak also had to come in for that slice, and then Stefanos had great depth on the following ball.
Thank you.
Well, he wanted to be aggressive, didn't he, on the forehand? He didn't have a chance to that stage of the point, and he just picks the wrong one. He's too far back, I think. He felt like he was defending the whole way there and wanted to change that.
Please.
Wanted to change that into an aggressive forehand, overplayed it. Well, this is astounding to me. He's missed some easy balls by his standards here.
30-14.
These are the moments where the crowd just wants to see more tennis generally. The crowd is cheering because they want to see him split sets right here. And Novak takes it personally a lot of the time.
Ready? Please. Please.
Please and thank you.
Please, for the players, be quiet. Thank you.
Set point.
Fault.
Please.
And where's Stefanos going to go for this return?
He's creeping in a little bit.
Staying a bit neutral. Tighter than before, but not quite as close as the previous one.
And Novak's champion qualities on display in that rally. Cool, calm, and he collects the point.
Yes.
So much patience and so much belief.
Well, he was vocal. There was stress there for him. You don't often hear him grunting there when he hits those ground strokes.
Thank you.
these are the kind of moments that make our sport so great.
Djokovic.
Just watching the drama between these two heavyweights, mentally trying to fight through this moment in the match. Seeing who can execute their game under pressure.
He thinks there's individuals
Please,
in
ladies and gentlemen,
the crowd here.
Be quiet during the point. Thank you.
Not happy with a few spectators by the look of it.
Can we get a translator?
Well, he played a beautiful set point, didn't he?
Game's on.
And that earned his right to get out of that particular game.
You feel like he's fighting some of the spectators as well?
Fitz, I feel like when he gets in these moments sometimes and he gets in this mode, he's fighting everyone. He's literally fighting anyone and everyone that there is out there, including himself.
Might be where he's most dangerous here. Tsitsipas again needs to hold serve.
And the little nuances, little mind games just continue. Novak was standing on top of the baseline there for that second serve. That's as tight as he's been on a second serve return.
Thank you.
Fold.
Gee, there's great timing in that wrist, isn't there, with that forehand from Tsitsipas. Turned some of those forehands into almost into half volleys with a flick of the wrist. Beautiful timing.
Novak just taking a step deeper here on this first serve return.
Tsitsipas.
Perhaps thinking ahead to the tiebreaker that may be coming his way.
So please stay quiet between the first and second serve. Thank you.
Fold. Now.
15 love. Thank you.
Now.
30 love.
Well, he's calmed himself, hasn't he? In this game.
At the change of ends, Brad, he really did take some deep breaths, put the towel around the side of his head, and really settled himself down consciously, didn't he?
Yeah, he was covering his ears.
Yeah.
Actually covering his ears on the changeover. Just staying within his own mind. He's definitely quieter. He's calmer. That backhand down the line looked like the first set again.
Fold. Fold.
14.
Patch, that was the serve down the tee again on the second serve, back up at 178 after hitting 3 or 4 second serves that were all in the 120s.
That's the first time he's gone big as well. And again, just thinking ahead, I'm sure, to the tiebreaker, if he feels as though he needs to find the rhythm on that serve, rather do it at 40 love, where it's not going to come back to haunt you probably.
Please.
Is that another stinging forehand?
You have to ask Wally about the stinger.
Indeed it was. And, well, that's an undeniable forehand, isn't it? But I do love the change of pace.
Please.
That was the change of pace in the extreme.
Well, 6 games all second set tiebreak.
A 2-set swing about to happen.
Which puts more pressure on Tsitsipas for me here. There's more pressure.
He has to win this set.
Yeah, it's more pressure for him to perform here right now. Novak, who's won 23 out of his last 28 breakers as well. Steph, though, with a nice run here, won his first 4 tiebreakers, lost 1 against Hashanov.
Djokovic.
But it shouldn't be forgotten that he's won the last couple against Tsitsipas as well. Won the final set breaker in Paris, played a truly magnificent rally as well, the penultimate point before winning it, and also won the second set on a breaker in Italy as well. Psychological advantage for Djokovic, and a physical one here as well with the mini break.
What an offside backhand, Fitz.
Well, there was some low percentage in that. That was a risk.
But the thing is, with the score, with a breaker like this, now's the time to gamble. Each individual point, it's worth taking more risk here. 1 point can make such an enormous difference. You've got to take some chances.
Well, he has to win this. He has to go out and win this tiebreaker, Tsitsipas. Novak's not going to give it to him. We all know that. He's going to have to lift his game and maintain it here, Stefanos, I think.
Thank you, please.
To get over the line in this breaker.
The value of not being predictable shown there. Steph also, I'm sure, subconsciously in those big moments goes to protect his one-hander. Novak drives on right through the defenses of Tsitsipas.
That was the return we talked about earlier that Stefanos struggles with. Novak doesn't have the prettiest backhand slice in the world, but he finds a way to be effective with it. Completely neutralized that big serve from Stefanos there. That face spoke a lot right there.
Didn't think much of Steph's forehand miss, did she?
Goodness me. Well, he needed his forehand to light up here in the breaker, and he's missed 3 of them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you have an overemphasis on one shot to make things happen, it's going to be tricky, isn't it? That's why Stan had success against the big four, because he could hurt you off both wings equally. We've seen a nice shift from Steph in this second set with his backhand down the line. He's certainly tried to use it a lot more.
Please. Let's proceed.
Forward.
Djokovic.
Tsitsipas can't allow his head to drop. He has a huge vested interest in turning around this deficit in this second set breaker.
And that was a huge point, Petch. Novak kind of snatched that backhand. Look at it, it just looked awkward at the end of that swing.
Novak's moment cannot look, even after he's won 21 of these 9 Australian Opens, it still feels just as meaningful. And that team has been there to absorb some of his fears in this second set.
Thank you.
I don't think any of us expected those last 2 points. So I think we're in a place that you don't always experience with Novak on the court. It's up for grabs.
Thank you. Ready?
You just expected Novak to run hot, to run through the finishing line.
Thank you.
He looks as tentative as we've ever seen him.
Goodness gracious. Novak didn't find the center of the racket there on those two forehands.
5-4, Djokovic. Ladies and gentlemen, please, once again, I know it's very exciting.
And there's no question Novak is a little tense. There's just no racket head speed on those forehands, as you mentioned, Brad. But what's that, the fourth forehand from Stefanos? Not under any real pressure other than scoreboard pressure.
Please. It's very disturbing for both players, so please be quiet. Thank you. Let's first serve.
What we're seeing here is the advantage for Novak to take on somebody that has yet to win a major.
6-4.
I couldn't agree with that statement more, Petch. I think that's exactly what you see here is Novak, as uncomfortable as he's been in some of these points and through a portion of this set, there's this unbreakable self-belief. Stefanos struggling to take advantage of the moment.
Well, he didn't need to play his best, but it looks as though he's going to be...
Not sure when she started the clock or when the clock starts, but at this point in my mind, it's not within the rules.
Rules, when they're not enforced, are just a suggestion, and we got plenty of those on the tour.
It's not a good way to raise your kids.
Fold.
Love attack. Let's first serve.
I mean, it's interesting, isn't it, that we don't put a clock up for the restroom break as well, so that it is a grey area. If you put the clock up, then the umpire's forced to actually make the call. No call, because that one attached itself to the line.
Love 13.
And who knows, this may be a little bit of a flat spot here at the start of the third set. Can Tsitsipas capitalise in a way that he was unable to do at the back end of the second set?
Well, I have a clarification, guys. The clock starts
15,
when you
13.
enter the changing area, if you're changing your gear. So the time that you enter and until you come back out on the court.
Okay. Okay, so less than that time.
But I don't think it took him 2 minutes and 11 seconds to walk from the court to the bathroom.
For like 2 milliseconds. I know it's not, we cannot change it, but it's bright, it's white, it's like almost like the ball.
A little bit of this problem earlier on in the week. I think the reflection at times from the floodlights on the LED panels at the back is a little tough for the players at a certain stage to pick the ball up. Seemed okay there, though.
Yeah, that was one of the cleanest returns with depth and authority that Steph has hit in the match.
Two out of the last 3 Djokovic service games, he's got break points.
Fault.
Fulton.
Just the 6th time in the tournament that Novak has been broken.
First game,
and that is the perfect start to a recovery for Tsitsipas after what just transpired at the end of the 2nd set. And credit to him.
Big roar from the crowd there when Tsitsipas took that game. You just wonder what the roar would have been had he won that 2nd set.
And just a sense there on your screen, Wally, of just the tension that both players felt in that tiebreaker. Look at that massive drop-off in speed on their average forehands, the shot that's going to make things happen. We talked about the fact that Steph just couldn't find his forehand. He just stopped swinging at it.
Yeah. You'd assume he'd have trust, but there was just tension in the arm.
Amazing.
Well, I don't think we've seen a player yet that can deliberately land this on top of the tape. You need a bit of luck for that to happen.
I don't know, Fitz. He's done it twice now.
You need a bit of luck, I would say, and I'll stick with it.
Thank you. Là.
Fault.
$30-15.
Doesn't feel like he gets the right grip for the slice. He almost has to do so much work with the hand to get the racket face in the right place to be able to punch through it.
Fold.
I agree with you on that, Petch. He has such a strong grip on the one-hander when he comes over the ball that he has to shift the grip. Watch this return again to hit the slice, and sometimes I don't know if he doesn't get far enough when it's down a little bit more, and then also the swing path for me is still a little bit incorrect, off.
Well, on one hand, it's just incredible defense, isn't it? Such dynamic movement from Novak and flexibility to force his opponent to make one more shot. But once again, a little frailty around the forehand from Tsitsipas. He's got to be making those shots. Breakback chance immediately here for Djokovic.
Good read there to take that out of the air.
Yeah, this is always worth the risk, isn't it? He's so good at this forehand, on this forehand wing, that you got to back yourself there.
Fold.
Oh my goodness, that's pure class. That is not an easy shot. For all you pennant players out there, that's a tough one to make.
Well, I felt the rally was getting a touch of the Rublevs there, a touch predictable, and I like that slice, but then you get that.
That shortest follow-through is here. Such incredible work with his hands on that.
Thank you.
Novak locked in. Break point again. That is absolutely exceptional.
Well, you just can't afford to drop off, can you? I mean, Steph missed a ball at 30 all that he was chastising himself about missing. It was one he should have made, but still not a super easy shot. And you just make a couple of little errors at the wrong time, and Novak's all over you. That hurts.
The 1-2 punch from Novak in that point as well. The back to that returning form that we saw in the first set, and then the running forehand. An amazing angle from that position.
Thank you.
And just the difference to be able to keep the left hand on the racket there. He could drive the return, than the previous break point he had to float with the one hand.
Yep.
That was just a training drill, wasn't it? That was a Brad Stein training drill. Just left, right, left, right.
There's much more to Brad's coaching than that, Wally.
We'll set you up with a workout, Wally. I'll put Fitz in a corner and have him just run you.
And Stefanos, do not drop off now. This is the challenge you face.
Novak with a very nice record here in Australia. 25% of the time breaking right back. Didn't actually have a great record on tour last season. Alcaraz was the best at 30% of the time being able to get the break straight back. But when it matters so often in this man's career, he has come to the fore.
Fold. Yeah.
14-15.
Well, the two forehands, he's flattened out, completely flattened out in this game. Stefanos is a bit of a sign that the frustration is coming, he's boiling over a little bit. Made that one.
Got to keep it within the confines of the course. Well, he crushed it at 170 Ks.
Setting. Thank you. Djokovic.
Nice rebound for Novak Djokovic at the start of this third. And the stages through the course of his illustrious Grand Slam winning records as well. 30 match wins in a row.
Players are ready.
Scarcely believable, some of the tennis and the runs that he's put together over the years. And Tsitsipas feeling the full force of his personality and skill right now.
I always think with the ebbs and flows of five-setters, if you can just build on the foundation of game after game, even if you're down 2-0 and you can win a close third set, if you can win a close third one, there are times against opposition when all of a sudden then the fourth one will be quick and you'll be at 2 sets all. But it's more of a rare occurrence, I think, against Djokovic. But that's what Tsitsipas surely has to hang on to, that belief.
Okay, that's the third one he's missed. Is that technique?
I think he's not stable enough. Wally, you're down there at courtside, but it looks to me like he doesn't set himself for that. He runs through that backhand volley occasionally.
Did you see Tsitsipas? Did you see Apostolos there?
Yeah.
That's exactly the problem for me. He's got too much wrist in front of the racket. It's not a strong grip, so he breaks the racket head. He drops the racket head. Ball drops with it. Apostolos was on it.
Equal fastest serve of the tournament.
30 on.
Well, that's something you've got to fix that in practice before you get out here. It's going to be hard to change that in this cauldron.
Forward.
That is a wondrous point. It is staggering how many great shots, though, you have to hit to take a point away from Djokovic.
It is, Petch, but I do love the body language here of Tsitsipas. He's not going anywhere, is he? Why would he? In a final like this, it's still an opportunity for him. And I love the aggressive nature after that point, showing a fist.
He's starting to direct a fair bit of traffic out there on the outside, hasn't he, with his first serve, trying to find that angle. Novak's done a good job of just whipping forehands on the outside quickly into his own forehand. Didn't save him on the break point. He's going to have to change it up occasionally. Can't be too predictable, but a good service hold there for Tsitsipas. Just the 7 men, of course, that have won a slam from 2 sets to love down in the final. Of course, Novak one of them, and unfortunately for Stefanos, that's on his resume as well. Back in 2021, 5 of the times it's happened actually has been at the French. Gaston Gaudio famously against Coria, saved a couple of championship points, served for it twice as well, never recovered from that loss. Agassi, of course, when he picked up his career Grand Slam in '99 against Medvedev, who had the rain delay. Also had to save a break point at 4-all in the 4th set there. It's never straightforward.
Forward.
Please.
Beautifully done again. Lennon Lacourse against McEnroe most famously in '84. Johnny Mac led 4-2 in the 4th set. Dominic Thiem against Zverev. US Open 2020. Zverev served for the championship. And of course here last year, the miracle in Melbourne. Rafa against Medvedev.
Thank you. Let's for serve. Thank you. $40-11.
Oh, what a shot. Oh, what skill.
And just robbing the ball of any bounce.
Ready.
deserves a comment if Novak's did, because it was virtually as good.
15-11.
It was, and he missed the tape that time.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't aiming for the tape on this third attempt.
Just a look through the years for Novak on his forehand as well. Look at that. In 2 years, he's gained 7 Ks on his forehand side, continually improving. Great stab save from Tsitsipas. Drop shot off the forehand certainly wasn't as good, and it isn't as good off that particular side, but a good salvage job from Tsitsipas.
Fold.
13-10. Please. For 10.
Hey, not a bad game.
He had a couple of really nice forehand pickups off of very deep returns from Novak. You have to have that. I think you have to have that when you play Novak. He returns so much down the middle, but with such depth.
Simultaneously, his forehand has been very good tonight, hasn't it? And unfortunately for him, very bad at the wrong times. But he's rallied here in the third set after what happened at the conclusion of the second set.
That's 15-11. Thank you.
Fold.
Well, things are looking a little desperate for Steph here. Do you remember last year, Brad? Fitzy, you guys, when we were sitting here?
And it was 2 sets to love?
It was 2 sets to love, and it was pretty much love 40, wasn't it?
Yep, it was love 40.
Thank you.
Well, let's have a look at that. That's where Djokovic started the match. We're at 98% and 2, and I believe last year the win predictor sat at 96% at that particular stage. So he's looking to put his hands on those famous handles for a 10th time.
You know, that's an exact replica.
15
right?
love.
Well, not that particular trophy, but he gets to keep one that is an exact replica of that. He's got 9 others. You'd need a big space to put 10 of those. They're big trophies. And they're made of silver. But there's a slight flat spot here in this set too. So Tsitsipas has to keep clinging to the possibilities.
Love.
Fold.
Tsitsipas. 4 games on. Thank you. Please.
What a choice of shot there. Perfect shot selection from Djokovic. You know, I'm not sure we talk about it enough in tennis, how important that is. So many people, I think, they look at the striking of the ball as the most important thing, but this shot selection from a great player is just enlightening for me. He had the opponent on the back foot, moving backwards. He picks the right shot. He does it time and again.
Fold.
A well-played point there from Tsitsipas.
30 love.
But in the end, it's still Novak who comes out on top. I just have this sense, and I have for a little while now, Mark, you mentioned it earlier, that we saw a great point. It's been a while now from Stefanos like that.
Thank you.
you made a comment about how
Please.
it has to occur over and over and over again, and then the next point, first point of the game, and the next game, he missed a forehand on the second ball.
Fault.
Relatively easy forehand. And it just struck me. I mean, you've got to be able to stay in the points and maintain the pressure. If you make 20 balls, Novak will make 21.
And also it's when you come to admire somebody as great as Novak already was and how many things he's improved in his game. His serve's got better. But the one shot I think that has helped him more than anything else at times has been his slice backhand. It's got some real bite now. You look at that last one there. Steph doesn't hit his slice anywhere near good enough. The one in the early part of this game, first point, just floated up as a defensive shot. It was easy pickings for Novak.
Fault.
Yeah, slice backhand is such an important aspect, and especially when you're a one-hander. As a one-hander, he has to have a good slice, but if you don't do enough with it, it'll get you hurt. Oh my goodness.
Well, Novak's back down under, and it certainly looks as though once again he is going to... Is there anything that Tsitsipas can do here? Serving to stay in the match.
Let's proceed.
That's a heck of a pickup by Tsitsipas there.
15.
First point of that game, this game. So important for relieving a little bit of pressure, creating a little bit of momentum.
You know Novak's going to be pressing here. This could be it. He wanted that first point. It was a great return. And it's taken two excellent points from Tsitsipas to get ahead here.
30 love. Please.
In this moment, if he wins this point, Novak, the tension will then be palpable.
Absolutely.
Because when you lead 30 love here, if you're Tsitsipas, if it gets back to 30 all, gee, do you have a lot to lose right then?
Let's proceed.
Well, he's looking to finish it now.
Well, that was a better slice in there, but the start of this game, when he was coming out of his corner off the bench, Novak got up and jogged to return position again, just indicating his intensity, his focus for this game, and his returns in this game again have been on fire.
Thank you. Please.
Real credit to Steph there to reset, to produce that type of serve, to take the pace off it, find the angle, and that has worked out very nicely.
Thank you.
It's
played some exceptional points in this game, Tsitsipas.
Game Tsitsipas.
Yeah, great effort on his part right there. Just like you said, Fitz, that's a mental struggle from 30 love up to get back to 30 all. Being 4-5 down, match on the line.
Thank you. Please. Again, please, just before the serve, it's very disturbing for both players, so please be quiet. Thank you.
Time has stopped again.
Fault.
Love. Love.
Frustrating as an observer when you're sitting in the player's box at this stage in this set to not be able to put enough balls in play to create any kind of pressure whatsoever.
Game Djokovic.
Yeah, he's lost just 11 points on his first serve in this match. Out of 60 has Novak Djokovic on the brink of a 10th title here in Australia.
Fault.
Credit to Tsitsipas there. Novak threw everything but the kitchen sink at him.
Well, Tsitsipas enabled us to see Novak in full flight there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please, no out calls during the rally. Thank you.
Defense and attack commingled.
Love.
Credit to Tsitsipas here as well. This has not been a set where they've been in a conversation of defeat. And sometimes you can see it in both players' eyes, can't you? They're locked in. They kind of know what the future holds for both of them.
30-15.
Credit to Steph. He's been up to the task these last 2 games. He actually looks like he's gotten a little bit more of a sense of calm about him. Almost pulled a rabbit out of the hat there.
30.
Great return from Novak again off that same cross-court forehand.
Cain Tsitsipas.
It's really been the one thing that saved him, hasn't it? Just the quality of the serving throughout the course of this 3rd set. But gee, boys, what does he do here? He tried to roll the dice and his forehand went missing in that 2nd set tiebreak.
Well, he's got to roll the dice again on the forehand. That has to win it for him, Wally, surely.
Or does he play tight? Does he play deep in the court? Does he play tight? See if Novak's a little nervous himself in closing.
Thank you.
Again, Novak targets the deficiency, and this is what's happened to Tsitsipas' forehand in this 3rd set. It hasn't hurt him because, as Wally rightly says, his serve has been magnificent, but he has lost a little bit of pace on it, and we saw how it dipped off in the 2nd set when he got a bit tight. He can't afford to lose any more pace on that. Novak has been so consistent throughout this contest.
Fault.
A statement there.
And also great knowledge, isn't it, Brad? We know that Steph loves to fall to his left after his serve, and that there's space there to exploit.
Yeah, I think Novak was also just committed to attacking that return.
Thank you.
He was moving around to look for a forehand. Pulling it up that way was the comfortable way to go for him as well. Trouble now. And that forehand looked shaky from Stefanos.
3-0. Djokovic.
Novak, of course, with some elbow issues back in 2017, but his nascent second empire building began at Wimbledon against Brad's man Kevin Anderson, and subsequent to that he has won 9 major titles. He's looking for his 10th after he's turned 30.
Yes.
Novak's lifted his game here, and Stefanos has not been able to stay with him.
4-0. Djokovic. Thank you. Please.
He's just gone into his shell. What a shame.
5-0.
He's been brave, hasn't he? Stefanos. but it looks inevitable right now.
Thank you. Please.
Fold.
Please.
Well, he got distracted by a fan. He has got a healthy lead here, though, Novak. And I don't think we're going to take any major detour.
Djokovic.
But it did divert his attention for the time being. Do you remember the suggestion of the next gen, Brad?
Tell me. Because I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Well, the suggestion that there was going to be this next gen. Novak and Rafa, of course.
Oh, that?
16 out of the last 19 Grand Slams. Let's just have a listen to the distraction. Threw him off his game just for a moment, surely, but his eyes firmly on the prize. Yeah, quite incredible. 16 out of the last 19 majors have gone to Novak or Rafa.
Well, I heard Wally say earlier that, you know, we've talked a lot about the next gen, but really what's gotten the big three, the big four, has been time.
Please.
It hasn't been the next gen, really.
That is an extraordinary point, and one of the best points that Tsitsipas has played tonight.
5-3.
There was risk
Djokovic.
involved, wasn't there? But he had to take a little risk, deliberately drawing him into the net. And that was a beautiful pass. That was dipping sharply, and they are the tough volleys.
Thank you. Please.
The agony for the moment for his fans.
And that's the greatness of the man, isn't it? That he loses the previous point. Such a big point, such a fight, and comes back and demands that you replay at the same level.
6-3. Djokovic.
It's awe-inspiring, isn't it? Novak once again, awesome in Australia. 3 championship points.
Please. Please.
Fold.
6-4, Djokovic. Please. Five, Djokovic.
Two championship points have come and gone.
Thank you. Quiet, please.
Here's the third. He's a perfect 10. 6-3, 7-6, 7-6. Not only champion of Australia for a 10th time, but he is the best player on the planet again. He is not just the heir to greatness. He is greatness.